The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to a presentation of Navisworks for BIM. My name is Victor Snook. I work for Adris Computing Concepts. Okay, let's start the presentation. I want to start the presentation with just a brief overview of some of the benefits of using BIM, the BIM process, and especially with some of the benefits of using Navisworks as part of the BIM process. Okay, so what Navisworks does is, as you can see from this slide, it allows you to have lots of different file formats in the same file location. So it's the aggregation of design data into a project. As you can see from the little slide here, you can see there's lots of different CAD applications from the Autodesk environment allow you to go into BIM and Navisworks. So we've got things like AutoCAD, Revit, Civil 3D, Inventor, Max, MicroStation, and ArchiCAD, to name but a few. Okay, once you've actually bought those into Navisworks, it allows you to put it into a single environment, and then you can do things like walk rounds and clash detection and other tools that I'm going to show you during this presentation. So Navisworks can combine multiple file formats into a single model. Okay, one of the main benefits of being able to get lots of different file formats into a single model is the fact that you can actually do clash detection. And as you can see from here, there's a beam traveling with a column. And you can quite clearly see that there's a clash happening between the two. Okay, the clash that we're going to show you in the presentation is going to be a DWG file, but what you can do is you can do any type of file format from Revit through to AutoCAD through to Inventor, lots of different file formats as we're going to see during the presentation. Okay. This is one of the biggest benefits, because this is a potential huge cost saving by being able to resolve clashes before it goes to site. So it's a time and money saving. Okay. Other things you can do with the Navisworks model is, during the presentation I'm going to show you a thing called viewpoints. And what viewpoints allow you to do is you can quite easily take any file and create a series of markups. You can see in this particular instance we've got a pipe on the back of the file, and you can sort of see that it actually clashes with the beam. And what you can do is you can actually put down markups. Once you've actually put these markups into the model, okay, what you can do is you can send it out. You can either show people interactively live during the actual walk rounds of the model, like a design review process, design review meeting as they've got in the notes there. What you can also do as well is you can save any of this information out to a free publishing tool called Freedom, which allows anybody who doesn't have Navisworks to be able to navigate the model that you've set up for them and look at all of the clashes. So it's a great tool for just reviewing what's actually happened within the model and trying to get some resolution as to clashes and things like that. Okay, the other thing we can do with Navisworks is we can do all sorts of 3D sections. Okay, Navisworks, not only can you bring in lots of different file formats within Navisworks, what you can also do as well, it's a great way of actually presenting the files and also being able to navigate the model. And as you can see from here, without having any CAD knowledge, you can quite easily create a nice 3D section. Okay, the 3D section can be walked around, it can be, you know, investigated, click on certain items and you can pull up all of the data of those items as well. So it's, again, Navisworks is aimed at people who don't have an extensive CAD knowledge. Okay, another thing we're going to have a look at today is a thing called construction sequencing. Okay, this is basically, in its basic form, it's being able to take the 3D model that your CAD people would have created in whichever format they've created it in, being able to bring it into Navisworks and being able to run it against a project file. Okay, so it could be Microsoft Project, or there's Aviva, or there's other different file formats it can run. But what we're looking at doing is running it against the Gantt chart. You can see a very simplistic Gantt chart here. And what Navisworks will allow you to do, it will allow you to build the model at the same time as viewing the Gantt chart. And we can have a look at that when we come to do this. The thing inside Navisworks, this is a thing called Timeliner. Okay, there's another idea of 4D sequencing. So sequence the complete model with Microsoft Project, Primavera, and now CSV to simulate the model against time and visualize the returns. You can see here we've got a series of different models, and you can basically run animations. We'll show that as we go through the presentation. Okay, right. Okay, to the software now. Okay, so this is Navisworks, the software. Navisworks is designed to be very easy to use. Okay, so that's the basic function of Navisworks. And again, it's designed. It was initially designed as a project from somebody at university, and it's designed to do one of two things: to make it nice and easy to use, to be able to aggregate or bring in lots of different file formats from multiple different CAD applications, and also be able to compress the file formats in such a way as it makes it really interactive and very, very easy to use from a file size point of view. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to have a little bit of a look at what sort of file types and stuff you can bring into Navisworks. Okay, so if I go to the append button. Okay, so I've got some files I've got set up, but from a file point perspective, you've got lots of different file formats. There's three basic Navisworks file formats. You've got Navisworks NWD. That is a fully published file. So if you're going to send it out an NWD file, that's ideally aimed at somebody who's got freedom, so that has no link to the original CAD data. The other ones we've got inside the Navisworks is we've got Navisworks NWF and NWC. So an NWF file is a file where it has got a link through to the original CAD data. So whichever CAD data you're bringing in, if there's a modification to the CAD data, say in this particular example I've got above is a DWG file, Navisworks will automatically update the Navisworks file at the same time as the AutoCAD file is being updated. So it's a live link into the AutoCAD data, which is great for when you're doing work in progress. Okay, there's another. And just underneath that, you've got a big long list of lots of different types of file format. Some of the kind of main ones, I guess you've got Autodesk 3ds, which are 3D Studio Max. You've got DWG files, okay, FBX, which is a Max format. There's IGES, Inventor files. Point cloud data, which is becoming more and more important inside industry, is the use of point cloud data and point cloud scanners. So lots of people are starting to do existing buildings by scanning with point cloud machines, point cloud scanners. Okay, the main two ones that you're going to bring this information on is Leica and Faro, and it takes both of those file formats in natively. Some of the other things you've got is you've got STEP and SAT files and STLs. Again, there's a whole heap of different file formats in here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my my sample files. Okay, and we're just going to open up this file. Okay, right. This is for those people who have never been. This is the Autodesk building up in Farnborough. Okay, so this is a file that we produced. Okay, to have a look at the actual files inside this project. Okay, you can see on this particular project here, these are mostly DWG files. And again with a 3D Studio Max file built in there, but you can literally bring in any of the file formats, place them in, and create a 3D model out of all of these. Okay, and you can see with the information on here, it brings in all of the information from the file. So in this case, it's a DWG file. These were originally created in AutoCAD Architecture and AutoCAD MEP, but you can quite happily export files from Revit, MEP, Revit Architecture, Revit Structures, AutoCAD. Any of the file formats will actually come into here, and if required, I can provide a list of all the different file formats and stuff. Okay, so this is the selection tree. Okay, what can I do with the model? So now I've actually brought the model into my Navisworks. What can I do with it? Okay, the first thing we can do with the file, okay, is we can actually start to navigate the file. Okay, so again, it's all relatively straightforward. Again, I was saying this is actually aimed at somebody who hasn't got an extensive amount of CAD knowledge. Okay, so what we can do is using the navigator bar on the side, what I can do is I can just click on the little pair of feet, and I can actually start to walk around the model. So I can quite simply navigate the model. And you can see, you know, we've got a lot of CAD data inside this Navisworks file, and it actually responds really well. That's because Navisworks is a great tool, and it's a great compressor of file information. So no matter how much data you need to aggregate into the file, it actually makes the working with the file relatively straightforward, even on kind of lower end machines. Okay, so we can walk around the model. Again, within industry, people are using just the navigating of the file as a clash detection tool. Okay, so what we can do is, as part of this, I can go and add, okay, some tools on there called gravity. Okay, right, and I get my little man appear on here. You can specify the height of the man. And again, what people within industry, what people are using this tool for is to be able to walk around the model. And you can see the little man go straight to gravity. Okay, and say if you're in a plant room or something like that, what you can do is you can specify the height of the person. And as you're actually walking around the model, if the height of, say, the pipe or a duct or something like that actually is lower than the person, okay, as soon as the person comes into it, what they do, the person will actually crouch down. What that's actually telling me is there could be a possible obstruction which could be lower than head height. Yeah, so what people are doing is they're using this just as a visual clash detection to make sure that, you know, it's not going to be dangerous and stuff, and for servicing and stuff like that. Okay, and you can actually walk around the model. Okay, I'm just going to turn that off for now. Okay, right, what else you can do with the model as well is I'm just going to quite simply walk inside the model. Okay, what other people use Navisworks model for as well is to actually have a look at the model, you know, look at the information inside the model, and being able to do sort of like a quick check of the model. Okay, and what I've noticed on here, maybe the stairs is the wrong color. So what we can do at this particular point is I can actually right click on the viewpoints area, and I can actually say save viewpoint. Okay, and I'm going to call this one stairs. Okay, so what we've done now is you can, any point in time, you can actually click on any of the viewpoints that I've created. Okay, and we can go back to stairs. Okay, what I'm going to do on this particular occasion, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a few markups and stuff on here. So if I go to the review tab, I can actually say, the first thing I can do is, for somebody who hasn't got any CAD knowledge, I'm going to say point-to-point measure. So I want to measure, and you can see it picks up on your object snaps. Okay, so I can pick up on I want to measure a point between here and here. Okay, and it tells me how, it's 1400 staircase, that's absolutely fine. Okay, and what I can do as well is I can actually convert that point to a red line markup. Okay, and there's a series of different measurement tools. I can measure areas and lots of different tools, and they can all be converted to markups. And the markups themselves only appear on this particular model. Okay, what I can do next is I'm going to put a nice revision cloud around my staircase. Okay, and I'm just going to put a piece of text on there. And next, what I'm going to say to the person, I'm going to say stairs need 1600 wide. Okay, right. What's done? The actual the markup now is on the stairs layout. Okay, so if I go to stairs, that's all the markup details. What we can do then is it makes it nice and easy for people just to walk around and add a few markups and stuff. Okay, so what we can also do as well is, if I wanted to share this with people who don't have the CAD, maybe you want to kind of have like a design review meeting and send it over. We get two ways you can send it. We can either save it out as an image file, as a PD, as a JPEG image, bitmap image, or whatever. Okay, we can save it as a PDF file. I can do it as a 3D DWF. That's for working with design reviews. So again, that's a free piece of software that Autodesk produce. What we can also do as well is we can publish it. So me being able to publish it, I can actually publish it out to be viewed in Freedom, which is a free viewer which is downloadable from the Autodesk website. So a lot of the things I'm actually doing today, so the markups, the walk rounds, and any kind of viewpoints and stuff that I'm going to make, they can all be viewed in Freedom. Yeah. So what I can do is I can say So I can actually fill in the markup, the title. I get things like subject and author. Another nice thing about this as well is the fact that if you've got secure data, you can display a password. You can actually put a password in there, so it makes it nice and secure, so only people who know the password can open it up. What you can also do as well is you can put an expiry date onto the file. So if I know that in a week's time the whole file is up for review and it's going to be renewed, what I can do is I can put an expiry date on there, and as soon as that expiry date expires, that file is no longer available to be opened. So it kind of forces people to get the latest file for you. Okay. And all I would do then is just go and click export, and I export it out as an MWD file for people to be able to view within Freedom, the free viewer. Okay, so that's a little bit about looking at markups. The other thing I can do is I can make animations. Okay, so if I go to the animation tab, animations are relatively straightforward within Navisworks. Okay, I don't know whether you've ever used another piece of software like Revit or 3D Studio Max or AutoCAD. Animations are always tricky because they're always cameras and paths and things like that need to be a thing. With Navisworks, it's quite simple. All I do is I pick my piece of feet, my pair of feet, sorry. Okay, and under here I can either walk or fly. It's entirely up to you. And all I do is literally click the record button. And what I can do then is I can just navigate the model, showing people whatever I want them to see. So in this particular instance, I'm going to pop up to the front door, because what I'm particularly interested in is actually just looking at this model under here. So I'm just going to have a look at this this front portico. And again, just simply look around the model so you can show them whatever you wanted to show them. Okay, and literally all you do then is click stop. What it then does then is I can give it a name. Okay, and it puts the animation onto the sidebar here. Okay, and then with Navisworks, okay, you can simply just play the animation. Okay. Okay. Another way of, and that's one way of doing it, just literally called the replay button. Yeah, another way of recording animations, again this is a nice simple way, and this works really effectively, is to right click on the viewpoints folder, and I'm going to say I want to add an empty animation. Okay. Inside the empty animation I can drag over and place into it any of the viewpoints that I've placed. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 in there. These are simple just viewpoints. Okay, what I can do then is I can click the animation and I can go to place. This is another way of doing it, and what it will do is actually extrapolate a camera path between the viewpoints that I've actually placed. Okay, so it's all very, very easy. Okay, the animations, you can speed up the animation, you can do whatever you like to the animations in here. And the animations can either be, they can be exported out as AVI files, Windows media files as well, or also you could do it as a series of JPEGs if you wanted to. There you go, so I'll show you. So again, that's two nice simple ways of doing an animation inside Navisworks. Right. Some of the other things we can do with Navisworks, just to sort of show you how intelligent the data is, we've got a series of tools. So quick properties. If I actually select one of my properties inside Navisworks, what you'll see is on the properties palette to the side, the properties of the item that I've selected, yeah, in this case it's a window, it brings over all of the properties for me. Okay, so it gives you lots of properties, and it's things like you can bring over properties from Revit files and 3D Studio Max files and AutoCAD files and stuff like that. So the data when it actually comes into Navisworks is actually quite intelligent. So it brings all of the intelligent data. The other thing I can do within Navisworks is you can start to think about attaching other information to your Navisworks file. What you see on here, now I've clicked on the hyperlinks button, what you'll see is a series of little images. appear on here. So like little tiny tags on here. What these are hyperlinks. Okay. To attach a hyperlink to something, what I can do is I can pick an item on the screen in Navisworks. I can right-click the mouse, and on the shortcut of the mouse, we actually get links. I can add a link. Okay. Sort of links and stuff I can do. I can link it to a Word document if I need to. So if I've got a Word document about the windows that I selected in this particular instance, okay, I can attach it to a web page, manufacturer's web page, for instance, any Excel spreadsheets, or even photographs. What people are starting to do on site now is to give a lot more interaction with the model. They go around to certain places on site and you can take a photograph. So when you're on the model, if you click on the little link, you can actually click on the link and it will take you straight to a photograph of the site. In this case, I'm going to say website. Okay. Okay, and under here you can see all of the file types we can select. We can select as hyperlinks. Okay, so you can even link it back to another site if you want to. Okay, and you get attachment, hyperlinks or labels. Okay, so once you've actually done that and set them all up, what I can do then is I can select any of the hyperlinks on my screen, and it will then go and take me to another area. So it makes the navigation of the model really, really straightforward. Okay, and that's what's taking me back to my stair viewpoint that I created earlier. Okay, so there's lots of intelligent data inside the model. Okay, the next thing I can do is I'm going to go to an external view for a second. Okay, that's a better external view. Okay, the next thing I can do is I can quite simply produce section views, okay, of the model. Okay. The section tool itself is under the viewpoints and it's enable sectioning. Okay, and all you do with the section tool is I go and specify where I want it to be. I want it to be a plane, and where I want the plane to be. So I'm going to say I want the plane to be at the front, and literally all you do is with that, okay, is just go and change where you want the plane to be. Okay, and then just drag the plane box. Okay. What I can do is you can have more than one plane on if I want to. So I can do multiple planes. So I'm going to say front and to the left. There you go. So we've got on here, instantly we've got a 3D quarter section which we can look at. Okay. So you've got a nice, relatively straightforward to produce 3D quarter section of the model, okay, which is a great way of showing files and stuff. Okay, and it's all done within the Navisworks software. Okay. If I untick enable, it goes back to where we were. Okay, so this is a lot of the standard tools inside Navisworks. What we're going to start to look at now is some of the extra little tools and stuff. So the first one we're going to look at is going to be clash detection, clash detective. Then we're going to have a look at the timeliner, which is the creating the construction sequencing. And the last one we're going to have a look at is presenter, which is a little it's a little realistic, photorealistic rendering tool. Again, you can kind of have a look at those. Okay, so just for us to have a look at clash detection, I'm going to go and open up another file. Okay, in this case we've opened up a DWG file. Okay, all relatively straight. So it's a straightforward little file. Okay, so with this file, we've actually got, you can kind of quite clearly see that we've got a clash between these two. Okay. I like to keep things quite simple, and I like to kind of have just a couple of clashes to worry about rather than thousands. So we're just going to make it nice and simple to get across the process. Okay, the clash detection tool is actually part of the manage suite, which is the top end suite. Okay. All of the other things that we're looking at is the kind of the middle suite, which is, I believe, is simulate. Okay. So the things like timeline is simulate, the presenter, which is simulate, and all of the other tools we've looked at so far. That's all within the simulate tool. The clash detection, which I think is one of the most powerful tools within Navisworks, is actually part of the manage, which is the top flight thing. Okay. So with the clash detection tool, what have we got on it? So the first thing we've got is batches. So what we can do is I can create a series of batches, test batches. What they do is, as a design evolves, I can create a batch test. Okay, and as the design evolves, I can rerun the batch test over and over and over again. And what Navisworks will do is it will pick up, when I first run it, all of the new clashes. And as I actually go through and modify the file, you'll see all the clashes that were clashes. As the problems get resolved, they'll go over to not clashes, but Navisworks keeps a check on all of the old clashes. So again, that's what batch test does. Okay, right. There's a load of rules set up within Navisworks. These allow you to stop getting false clashes. So one of the ones we've got, which I like to tick, is layers, is items in the same layer. Because obviously if I've got an AutoCAD file, if I've got a layer called piping, what I don't want to do is pick all of the ends of piping that's going to clash, because obviously we know it will clash because the piping actually touches each other, otherwise it will leak. Okay, so you can reduce, and again there's a series of other rules and stuff that we can apply to stop you getting false clashes, so the clashes are actually the ones we're looking for. Okay, selection. So basically on the selection, it's all relatively straightforward. So what I can do is I'm going to be running piping 2, which is my piping, and from the other side I'm going to be running the steel. Okay, so I can select and say select this one. So basically it's running those two items together. Okay, the types of clashes we can do a hard clash down the bottom. We can do a hard clash, and it's physically one thing touching another. Okay. We can do a clearance clash. So if I had a piece of piping and it was, say, producing a hot water, for instance, and we say there's nothing that can go within 100 millimeters of that to stop the heat from radiating and destroying other things, we can do a clearance clash. We can actually say anything within 100 millimeters, tell me if things get within 100 millimeters of my piping. So you can put tolerances on that. The other type of clash that we can produce is a duplication, is a duplicates clash. So if I've got two pieces of pipe in exactly the same area, it will actually tell me that all pipes are duplicates. Okay, so again, that's the types of clashes. Okay, down the bottom, clash in lots of different things. I can do solids, line work, and point cloud data. I think I mentioned point cloud data earlier on. It's becoming more and more important as time goes on. What people are starting to do now is use point cloud data because it's very, very quick to scan a building. And what you can do within Navisworks is you can bring in the point cloud data and you can actually run a clash against the point cloud data of the existing building and pipes that were created in Revit MEP or walls are created in Revit architecture in the new building. You can run one against the other. So it's a very good way, very quick way of actually producing clash results based on an existing and a new. Okay, so what I should be able to do now is just click the Start tab. Okay, and change my tolerance. There we go. Okay, so we've now gone and set our, just needed to select the items. You had a little bit of difficulty selecting the items, but that's fine. It's absolutely fine. Okay, so now we've actually gone and I selected it, and we've clicked the Start tab. Okay, and we've got results. So when we actually click on the results, what you can see is there's a load of different tools under here for zooming. So I've got auto zooming, save as a viewpoint as well. So there's lots of different tools and stuff. And what it's actually done is it's picked up on our 2 clashes, and I can actually go and click on 1 or 2 of the clashes. Okay, right, what can I do with the results once I've actually got them? The first thing I can do is if I've actually gone onto site, yeah, I realise that's a problem, it's been resolved. What I can do is I can say, I can select it to new, active, reviewed, approved, or resolved. So I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to say that's approved. And what you'll notice is as soon as I change it to approved, the colour changes. And again, as being part of the batch test, that will always be approved. Yeah. Okay, and what it's actually done as well is as I actually go across the list a little bit, okay, it actually comes up with when it was approved and who approved it. So it keeps a record of all of the approved items that have been selected. Okay, and again, this is, you can just go through the list and do these. Okay, if we needed to send this report out to anybody who was interested in this report, okay, what we can do is we can save it as a series of things, an XML, HTML document, a text file, or viewpoints. Okay, right, and I'm going to say we'll save it as a series of viewpoints. Okay, and I can write report. Okay, and what it's actually done on the side is it's actually saved my clashes as a series of viewpoints. But you can save it as lots of different file formats. So if I do a HTML document and I write the report, I'm just going to place it onto my desktop in a new folder. Okay, and I'm just going to place it inside here. Okay, if I go to the folder that I've created, see it's made a HTML document, and if I select that, it comes up with lots of information about the type of report, the clash that has actually done, and where it actually is. Okay, the entity. Again, because it's an AutoCAD file, it gives you the entity handle. Okay, so everybody knows exactly which item they're talking about. And as you go down the list, it gives you the 2 clashes that we found in this particular instance. And if I click on the little image, it goes and gives you a little blown up image. Okay, or inside Navisworks, what I can do, because it's saved as a series of clash points, as viewpoints, okay, with the viewpoint itself, we can go back to the review tools, and I can actually start to put okay, revision clouds onto my tool with a series of okay, again with a series of bits of text and different bits and pieces on there. Remember, that actually saves that as part of that thing. Then you can, as we sort of said before, you can actually publish the results out to Freedom. So anybody who doesn't have Navisworks can actually go in and find the results. Okay, so that was a clash detection. Okay, it's relatively straightforward. I don't know why I was having so many problems with the clicking of the items, but there you go. So that's the clash detection stuff. Okay, the next thing we're going to have a look at is we're going to have a look at Timeliner. So this is all about what they call 4D simulation. Okay, so Timeliner. Okay, so we've got a very simple file here actually. It's just it's an existing model of a gatehouse. For those who have seen Navisworks, this is one of their sort of sample files and stuff. So with the Timeliner, okay, it gives us a separate window, so we can actually turn the Timeliner on here. Okay, there's my Timeliner window. It's all relatively straightforward actually. This is all preset, but I'll kind of tell you how it is all done. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick the data source. Okay, right. With the data source, what I can do is I can go and add a link to lots of different file formats. I've got Primavera, Microsoft Project, MPX, and there's a few different ones. And again, the only thing that you need to do is before you bring this information into your Navisworks, you just need to install the software that the timeline, that the Gantt chart was created into here. You need to install a piece of software. Okay, this is a live link through to my timeline link. Okay, so any changes to the Gantt chart in your piece of project software will automatically be updated inside Navisworks. Okay, what you would do then is you would rebuild the tasks. And if we go to the tasks area, okay, you can see on the left-hand side here, these are all of the tasks that have come over from my Gantt chart. So you can see it's fairly detailed for such a small building. So you can see under here, there's the windows being built, the fascias being added, all of the noggins being added. You can make these as complicated or detailed as you like. It makes no difference. It can be an entire building going up as a task, or individual items. This is individual items because I wanted to know how the construction sequence for the building, so when the carpenters go in and the plumbers and all the rest of it. Okay, what you can do then is, moving along the list a little bit, we can do a construction type, which is here. Okay, and you can see from the construction type, essentially there's 3 types of construction. You can do construction, task type, sorry. You can do construction, demolished and temporary. To set those, if we go to the configure button, they're here. Okay, so basically for the construction type, it starts off with 90% green transparent and finishes with the model, and you'll see that as we go. Demolish starts off with red, 90% transparent, and then hides it, so that it gets demolished. And temporary starts as yellow, 90% transparent, and hides it, so things appearing. So each of the items within the tasks from the Gantt chart, you can specify, are they going to be constructed, demolished, or are they only temporary structures? So once you've actually set all of this up, what we can do is we can go to the Simulate tab. Under the Simulate tab itself, there's a series of settings. Okay, so the settings I got from here, I can say start and end date, so I can override when I see my start, so I can say when the construction sequence starts to when it ends, or I might want to see middle 2 weeks in July, so you can kind of override the dates to see whichever phase of the construction that you want to see. I want to see the entire construction. Okay, but what I want to do is I actually want to see intervals of every 2 weeks. So I want to specify 2-week intervals, show me all of the construction during those 2 weeks of intervals. Okay, and you can also change what text and stuff appears on the list. Okay, you can run planned against actual differences, planned against actual, or planned differences. So you can run either as it's being built, which is the planned, or the actual, which is what it is actually on site. Okay, once you actually specify all of these, okay, all I do then is keep an eye on the date at the bottom and click play. Okay, and as you go through the process, you can see on here that my model is being constructed in every 2 weeks. Okay, the way people use the timeliner. Okay, the first way you can do it is you can actually stop the model at any time. Okay, and it comes up and says this is Thursday, week 5. Okay, so what we can do is, if I want to know where we are on site and where we should be, I can literally just walk around the model and you can see as a percentage what's been built. So my purlins are 75.86% constructed. Okay, so you can sort of see where we actually are to where we should be on site. The other way people use this as well is making sure that the Gantt chart, the project file that we've got, is actually correct. So you're not going to start doing things like you're going to start building the roof before the supporting structure has actually been built for you. If I carry on and going all the way to the end, you can see it as it goes through. It tells you, and at the Gantt chart, which is down the bottom, it actually tells you as it's being constructed. Okay, and we're nearly finished. Okay, right. What you can also do as well, we did an animation earlier. Okay, so what I can do as well is I can actually run a timeline simulation against an animation. So again, this is one of my favourites. This is a nice animation. This is actually a brewery. Okay, and what you'll notice with this, it's a little bit more interesting than the static timeline, because with this, I've set an animation going, okay, a walk round, and I've run that against the timeline, so you actually get a little bit more interaction. And again, this is an AVI file, so it can be being played on Windows Movie Maker. So this is a great way of just showing people how you intend to construct a building. Okay, you can see as you walk around the model. So again, this is great for construction sequencing and just seeing how the model is going to be built. There we go. You finish off inside and we're done. Okay, so there's little AVIs and stuff. And again, all of this is straight out of standard simulation Navisworks. Okay, so that was a timeline aside. Okay. The last thing that we're going to have a look at is we're going to have a look at the presenter file. Okay, with the presenter file, I'm going to go and sort of have a look at one that I've already sort of started to have a look at. Okay. So this is going to be the same file as we had before, but this one has actually got texture on there. Okay, so this isn't what I call photorealistic, as the sort of thing you'd expect to see from 3D Studio Max, but it's actually pretty good. As a rendering package, it actually works out quite well. The main thing I like about Navisworks is as a rendering package, it's all relatively straightforward. So at the bottom, there's a series of tabs under. I'll go into the presenter tab, and there's a series of tabs. You've got materials, lighting, and so on and so forth. Right. Okay. So with this, there's a load of predefined materials. I've got Flemish block. I can just drag and drop onto here. And again, with the Navisworks, it's literally just drag and drop. So what I can do is I can hover over here and I can just drag it and place it straight onto here to get different materials. So it's a drag and drop process. Okay, so you can literally drag it over. So some of the other things we can do, so you get a series of different things. All of the materials, there are lots of predefined materials inside Navisworks, but you can actually edit them if you want to. So you can edit any of the materials. You can bring in your own bitmaps and JPEGs if you want to kind of edit those as well. The other thing you can place onto here is you can place a series of lights. Okay, and there is a series of maybe a spotlight we can place. Okay, and there's a series of different lights and stuff like that. So again, you can drag and drop different lighting effects on there. Okay, right. And when I've got this, I can actually go and render the file. Then you can see it starts to give me shadow and stuff like that. There's a series of realistic lights as well. So I can say a cloudy sky over London. Obviously, it's very cloudy. There you go. Yes, this is realistic lighting. Again, that's made it a lot better actually. It's a little bit more defined. Okay. So you get some nice materials, and the render is actually very easy to use, and you get some quite nice effects that come off the back of the render. The other sort of things I can do with the render inside here is RPC, which is a photorealistic people, so I can start to think about putting people into the renderer. There's a series of effects I can put onto the renderer. Yeah, so I can do backgrounds and foregrounds. There's a series of background templates. So you start to do things like I can put clouds into the model. Yeah, there's environmental backgrounds, and it's all literally just drag and drop onto the model. Again, nice and simple. Okay, so there's a series of different kind of different files and stuff we can do. Okay, the rendering, there's a series of different renders we can do. So again, you got to even the kind of we can do some quite nice effects in the way of color wash effects. Okay, there's ink drawing, different kind of effects and stuff we can apply. These do take a little bit longer because there's obviously a little bit more to think about. You see, so from the other kind of, you got cartoon, hatching, mosaic and stuff. I'm going to stop this one actually. We'll try a different one, see if it's a little bit quicker. So I'm going to delete this type. Maybe have like an ink print or something, see if it's a little bit faster so you get an idea. Maybe what I need to do is while that's doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few examples and stuff that I've done previously. So if I go to my demo files on here, okay, these are a few different examples of renders that I've done. So again, you get some quite nice effects and stuff with the different images. Again, there's a series of shadows. You get some quite nice. That's an internal render. Yeah, some reasonable kind of renders off the back of Navisworks. Yeah, that doesn't seem to want to be able to go. Starting to do it. Okay, so that's the presenter side of Navisworks. So you can do some photorealistic rendering. That brings our presentation to a close. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact sales@adris.co.uk if they're sales questions. Okay. If you have any technical questions, please contact your sales representative and they'll pass you through to one of those technical people. Okay. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions about Navisworks, feel free to ask. And thank you very much.